There we go. Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
I am well. How you doing?
I'm here.
Okay.
Hoping hoping that it doesn't snow.
Let- It snowed here, so where are you?
Augusta.
Okay, I'm in Virginia,
But
and there was
y'all
definitely
always get snow though.
yes, but I feel like this was unexpected,
Mm.
and like now, like there's water
Oh.
issues, like it's a
Ooh.
whole thing. Yeah,
Ooh.
like some people don't have water. We've been blessed that our water hasn't gone
Yeah.
out, but it's still an advisory. Like, don't like basically don't brush your teeth with the water,
Yeah.
don't wash food with the water. So we've been going through bottled waters to like
I bet.
brush our teeth and to wash fruit and vegetables. It's been a time. Okay.
That sounds like us with that doggone hurricane that hit in the end of September being October.
Yes, I
And
feel
they
like
talking
it's
about it's gonna happen again this weekend. They're saying that the weather is supposed to get so bad here that our power is gonna go out, we're gonna lose water. And I was like, I can't do this again. I
okay.
literally
Like
can't. I cannot.
once is enough.
It was because we ended up having to leave. We had to evacuate, and I think we were gone for
Really?
like a week and two
Oh,
days. Yeah,
wow.
it was awful.
Wow. Well, I'm glad y'all survived. I'm glad
Thank,
y'all are okay.
thank you.
But that's a lot.
It and to do it again, like not even 6 months later, I'm not
Yeah,
ready
like
either.
I've had my fill.
But
I've
I'm
had some,
if I never have to evacuate again, I would appreciate it.
like, thank you kindly. I'd like to not do that.
Please, if I can unsubscribe.
Like, I'm good. Okay.
That's good. Come on. Thank you. All right. You're gonna My puppy doesn't understand boundaries. Well, he ain't even no more. He's a full dog, but no, he doesn't understand that. Well, introduce yourself for people who may or may not know who you are.
Well, I am Danielle Allen. I am an author of contemporary romance, and also self-help motivational journals if you are looking for your life to be coached. And I've been doing this thing since 2013, and I love it.
We can
Oh,
tell your
okay.
books read like you love it, and I
Thank you.
love that.
Thank you.
So, how did you get into writing, specifically the contemporary romance?
So I had a list of 30 things I wanted to do before I turned 30.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wrote a book in third grade, always wanted, like I didn't know regular people wrote books. I did not know how that came to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so in third grade, it was just like, that'd be cool to one day write a book. And it was just something that was always in the back of my mind. So when I did this 30 by 30 list,
Mm-hmm.
writing a book was number one.
Yeah.
And one day I was just like, okay, I don't have much time before I turn 30. I need to write a book. So I wrote my first book, and I like me and like my ex, what we were online trying to figure out how to um publish it, and we found Amazon KDP and put it up there, and that truly changed my life. Like just putting it up there on a whim, like not the original cover, suspicious, because didn't know anything about publishing, didn't know
Yeah.
anything about writing. Like if you were to read that first book, I stand by the story. Like my first few stories, I stand by everything I've ever written, but that those first few, I described every single thing. I wanted to paint a picture because it still does play in my head like a
Mm-hmm.
movie. And so I was like, well, let me describe every single thing so they can see what I'm seeing. Because before that, all I've ever written were like papers for school. Like I'd never like written anything like for no fiction.
Yeah.
So I put everything in there. And again, stand by the story. If I were to rewrite
Mhm.
it, I would trim down on some of the extra.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, this is important. They need to know this exact dress, where to get it, and
Yeah.
it was too much.
So they're not up anymore, or are they still up?
They you can probably still find them. Yeah, like I feel like my first five are probably still up. I also like I have an important announcement to make, and I'm gonna make this post too. So if you read anything that I wrote prior to 2021,
Okay.
I, I was told by an editor that I had early on that I wrote dick too much.
You did what?
So I wrote dick too much.
Hmm.
Yes.
That's interesting.
But I was new. I didn't know any better. So after I finished writing,
Mm-hmm.
I would go to the little search and replace. I would put it in dick, and for a few of them, I I put cock. Okay.
It's
So
okay.
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I It was a disconnect for me
Mm-hmm.
because I already wrote the book,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't say cock.
Correct.
So when I did the search and replace, it wasn't even like I wasn't thinking about it. No, and then when I would see people like say like,
How much they
black
hate it.
people don't say that, I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, that's so true. I'd never say that. And again, I disconnected that I did that. It wasn't until I was listening to the audiobook for Broken Clocks and Sweatpants Season, and I heard it, and I knew I wrote it, and I said, "Whoa,
No, because I was
what
thinking, I was
happened?"
like, is that in Broken
It,
Clocks? I was like, I don't
it
think
is. It is.
it
It's
is in
not
my brain.
often because like I try to get very creative with like it's not just
Mm-hmm.
dick. Sometimes I'll say shaft, I say like I just say other things to try to make like give you the image that like she going to town
Yeah.
on his dick, but like without saying dick too
Right.
much.
Right.
But because of that comment that from the editor, I was like, so I would sprinkle in. There's probably no more than five cocks in those earlier stories, but again, because I would do the search and replace after the
Yeah.
fact, I disconnected from it. I was listening to Broken Clock. It wasn't even 2 years. It might have, yeah, 2 years ago. I was listening to Broken Clocks, and I heard what I had Wesley say. And it was a jump scare for myself. And so I just needed to like, because I feel like I don't want someone coming to an older story
Mm-hmm.
and then being like,
Yeah.
she would say, because I don't. I don't. That's in my life. That's not
Correct.
something that I say,
Yeah.
but thank you for letting me tell my truth.
Oh, for sure. For sure. This is a safe space. This is a safe space.
Oh,
Since we're on the topic of broken clocks, first of all, so I'm launching a tea brand. Y'all don't pay attention to me because don't hold me to it. I'm gonna do it for real, but we're not gonna talk about it today. The tea I'm drinking, I named 927.
ooh, I love that so much.
Yeah,
That makes my heart happy.
this is
Oh,
927.
I
It
love
is.
that.
It is a chamomile lavender because, Lord, you took us through
I love that so much.
it.
I feel like let me know when it is like ready to go because I feel like I only drink tea when I'm
Mm,
sick, but I feel like I need that in my life.
I got you. Mm. But really and
Oh,
truly, how was that process for you writing that? Because I know how it was for a lot of us as readers and how heavy it was, but it's such a beautiful story. Let's like be very clear. It's a beautiful story. So how was that
thank
process for you writing that?
you. It was I knew how it was going to end. I didn't know exactly, but I knew the end result was going to be the end result.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of it is based on like real life. Like a lot of it is like inspired by true events.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a very emotional like journey in general,
Mm-hmm.
but the part like I cried writing the ending,
Mm-hmm.
even though I anticipated it,
Yeah.
knew one of the first things I knew, I still like tears were coming down as I was typing because of the journey that it was. And so it was emotional. And so when people say that they were emotional like reading it, that makes me happy because like
Yeah.
that was the intention, but also just the because some people like they read it and then they're upset.
Mm-hmm.
Valid,
It's
valid.
fair. Yeah, it's very fair.
But I one of the things I wanted people to walk away with is that you have to live for today.
Mm-hmm.
That tomorrow's not promised. That your life, you have one life to live. And it's your job to make the most of it. It's your job to live in your truth. It's your job to let love win. And that means in relationships, but also doing the things you love, experiencing life and creating the life you love. And so the people who like there have been people who have been like, oh, like that was too sad. I'm upset that so I'm not reading you. And then they come back.
Yeah.
Some of them, because I'm sure some of them don't. But like, they come. I've had people come back and say, thank you. Like the story stuck with me,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me change how I
Mm-hmm.
move through the world, how I move through life, and that is everything I wanted with that story. And so, like because the love story is beautiful and like it exists in what it is, but the life lessons too is what I wanted people to walk away with. And so anytime someone tells me that they are moved in that way, that they have changed how they move through the world, how they have been inspired to chase their dreams or to be with that person or to whatever, that makes me really happy.
And I think personally, for me, reading it, the fact that you did it in a single POV, that really pushed it even more. It really just made it so much more powerful to me. Like,
Thank
because I
you.
think I want to say Broken Clocks was the first single POV that I read. I think I might be wrong, but I'm
Wow.
sure it was the first one. And I, because like reading it, I was just waiting for the POV to switch, and I was like, so are we just not gonna? We're just gonna stay here.
So it's
All
just
right.
her. Okay, cool, cool,
We're
cool,
just all right. We're here now.
cool.
But you did so, like, because I think I messaged you like months after I read it, and I was like, I'm thinking about getting 927 tattooed on my arm. Like because it was really one of those things. And like Dime just said, she was like, I'm waiting on Olivia to stop talking about it. I was like, I'm never gonna stop talking about that book. Like it comes up at least once a week in my brain. Like it is so like the messages you had in it, it was like so imprinted that like I was like, I'll never get over it.
Thank you. That truly, you have no idea how happy that makes me. And especially since that book was written, I want to say it was either 2018 or 2019. So it's been, and I believe I released it in either January or February of that year. So it's been 6, maybe 7 years. And so it just makes me so happy when people encounter that story. I do feel like sometimes when it's the first thing people read by me, like sometimes they decide they're not coming back. Sometimes they're like, this is very emotional, very heavy. I'm not coming back. Oh, thank you. I just looked down and I saw January
That
16,
January 16th.
2022.
Listen, yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah.
So it's been 7 years, and that's wild to me. Time is moving. So
It really
like, so yeah, that makes me happy. Thank you so much for saying that. Like that
truly.
truly, truly touched my
And it
heart.
was my first book by you, but I was
I'm
like,
glad
her writing
you
style
stuck.
is.
I'm glad you
I'm
stuck with
I'm still
me.
going back. It's gonna take me a minute. Give me a couple months, but I'm gonna go back.
Thank you so much. No, I feel like that is when people say that that's the first one. I'm like, all right, either. either they're gonna rock with me and understand, because I feel like none of my stories are the same.
No,
You know what I mean? Like it's just
no.
like whatever. There is no like, oh, she writes this and this alone. Like I write what the story comes to me and I write what it's supposed to be. And so sometimes I feel like people think, okay, well, Broken Clocks is what all the stories are gonna be. And it's like, no,
No,
you never know what you're gonna get.
no. Y'all should go check out The King of Life with Zola Patterson. That was my that was next.
You know, see, because I
That
feel
was next.
like Zola
I love
Zola
her.
did like that. Me
I
too. I wish
love
more
her so bad.
people. I did because I got Aubrey to do I have it over here?
Are you talking about them other covers? Because I need.
Yes. I got Aubrey Pen
I
to do.
I
This
want
is
those.
Zola.
I want that.
I'm gonna have them this year at signings.
Great.
Um, but like I feel like more people, I wish more people would meet Zola. Like I feel like people know the holiday hookups, and so they know,
Of Zola.
right, but they don't know Zola. And I'm like, I wish more people knew Zola. So thank
I
you for
love
reading.
Zola. I adore Zola. I like that. I love Zola. I went through both of them in like a day. I was like, oh yeah, we gotta. I need to know happy pens. Definitely read
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I feel like Zola's my girl. I feel like if you read Big Nick Energy,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see
I was so
Zola again.
excited. I was like,
See, and
my girl.
that story, that and a companion story that will be happening later this year during homecoming season, like it was a really an ode to and a thank you to anybody who has been rocking with me all these years. Because then when you see familiar faces,
Mhm.
like the story stands on its own, but
Yeah.
if you have been reading my stuff and you see people, it's like you're seeing old friends, and it's like, oh, look at that person. But of course, Zola was in the mix because Zola is so impactful. Zola has done a lot of things.
So tell the people a little bit about Zola. Like if you had to tell them something to get them to read Zola, what would you tell the people?
Zola Patterson she is an influencer, if you will. She is a dating and love and sex advice columnist,
Mhm.
and she has her own like website, podcast, and she has dating down to a science, and she goes out, she does her thing, but she also like helps people navigate their love lives.
Mhm.
And so when we meet Zola, she is dating, she doesn't have a significant other, and then you see her navigate her dating life and get to the point where maybe she does want to settle down, because she's not opposed to settling down. It's about meeting the person that like she wants to settle down with. And so she's written a couple of books, but one of the books that she has written is a compilation of a lot of sexy times that take place on the holidays throughout the year. And so we get the pleasure of reading those entries in Zola's book throughout the year, but Zola herself is writing, she is podcasting, she is
Her best.
writing columns. Like she does it all. She does it all. And she does it well.
Very much this. The hot holiday hookups. So how do you decide which holiday gets a hookup?
Love you.
How
I'm sorry.
did you decide which holiday gets a hookup? Or are we just gonna get one for literally every holiday?
So the original order
Mm-hmm.
of the stories was the um Groundhog Day, April Fool's Day, and Juneteenth, because I wanted to pick holidays that weren't the typical holidays that everyone writes romance about.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't do Valentine's Day or
Yeah.
Christmas. I wanted to just do like something new. So I did those three. And then I did Zola stories. So those all came out in the same year.
Okay.
So Milan, I don't remember everybody's names because there are now 10 or
So this
11
got it.
hot
Yeah,
topic hookups.
that's a lot.
But the first one was Groundhog's Day,
Mhm.
and that is Zola's cousin, actually. And then April Fool's Day is a friend of Zola's. And then the Juneteenth one is from the male point of view, and that is also Zola's friend. And so you see those three
Mhm.
people in Zola's book because in my mind, I didn't know if I was going to do a bunch of holidays after that, but like the plan was these three holidays, then Zola. And so then you get kind of an update on if they're still with that person, if it was just a hookup, or if that hookup became more in Zola's stories. But then I had so much fun, and because Zola her holidays, it wasn't just her friends and family that she was polling. So those are the ones, those are her only friends and families.
Yeah.
Every other hot holiday hookup was someone who reached out to Zola via email or her website and said, "Hey, do I got a story for you?" And so all of the other ones are just random people who are fans of Zola Patterson. So the the there are plans for additional hot holiday hookups this year,
All right.
but it's just a little tricky because with the contract that I have now,
Mm-hmm.
I can't release things within a certain time period of the contracted book. So the holidays would have to fall outside
Yeah.
of that time period.
Yeah. Mhm. So let's transition and talk about that. What was your process any different from doing your indie books to doing your trad pubs?
No. So I have an amazing agent.
Mm-hmm.
So my agent is actually Antoinette
Mm-hmm.
and love her. And I have an amazing like publishing company like Bramble. It was like, what do you want to write?
Oh,
And
gotcha.
I said, my first traditional like thing, they're gonna be fat, they're gonna be black, and they're gonna have natural hair. All three of them. And they were like, okay. And I said, okay. And so then I told them that the stories are all different
Mm-hmm.
because that's who I am. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's not going to be the same form. There's no real formula with my books. It's
Right.
just what's the vibe. So I was like, but I did say it was the first one was a slow burn because that's who Aaliyah is.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is not so much a slow burn because that's who Nina is. And then the third one is a little sadder because Jasmine's dealing with things back home with her aunt's health.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, oh, okay. And so they were very, very supportive of what I wanted to do, the reason why I wanted to tell the story,
Mm-hmm.
because in traditional, because I feel like in indie, fat black women being loved is commonplace.
Mm-hmm.
There's several of us writing those, and it have been for years.
Mm-hmm.
But in traditional,
Yeah.
not so much. And so I knew that like if my for my first jump into it, I wanted that's what I wanted it to be. And I wanted them to see value in it because it's not none of the stories are about any of the characters needing to wanting to lose weight in order to get a man.
Right.
Their stories are not about them being fat.
Mm-hmm.
They just happen to be fat. And then there are things I know, like somebody was like, um, before I like had to remove because someone I feel like don't tag me in a review. If somebody said they don't like it, I don't want to see that.
Because why are
But
we doing?
like, why are we doing that?
Why is that?
But so there was this I was tagged in this review and she said that she liked the story overall. Maybe that's why they tagged me. They saw that part, they didn't read the rest. But then she was like, she felt like um like as a like fat person, um the story was about her being fat and that she felt like, why can't a fat woman just be loved, da 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 da. And then she said, follow-up comment, that she was just like, she felt like I was trying to capitalize off of, like, because being writing fat is trendy, and I was trying to, she was like, the author's trying to capitalize off of us. And I was like, what are you talking, I am us, what do you mean, like? And I was like, if you went to my profile, you see, I too am fat. Like, so this is not me like trying to, and I've been writing fat. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to remove myself from these spaces. But I feel like part of the story is, they're falling in love and stuff. But in real life, as someone living in a bigger body, you do encounter people who feel like, oh, how you get him? Or, oh, like you are actually pretty. Like, or you know what I mean? Like people say these little things because negatively talking about people and their weight is still accepted
Yep.
in a lot of spaces. Like they will be like, oh, you shouldn't say that about that person. Don't talk about that person like that, yada, yada, yada. But when it comes to someone being fat, like, and some, a lot of times that's people's go-to thing. As soon as you say something they don't like, it's like, oh, you fat,
That's why you.
da, 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 da. And it's like, what did that have to do with me not pulling off fast enough at the red light? Like, you know what I mean? Like it had, but so there are moments like that that are in the books because that's true to the fat black lived experience. But the stories, and I made it clear to them before like writing them all the way, like that it's not about them being fat. They are fat,
Yeah.
but it's not, the story's not about their fat journey. It's about them in these bodies, just living and dating and loving and all of that. And so it really made me happy for it to be embraced the way it has, because so many people have said that, like, even people who don't live in fat bodies, they talk about their dating experiences
Mhm.
and how they had been on those dates that Leah had gone on. And they've had those things. And so there are times where it is, people felt seen,
Mhm.
and that's what I wanted with Curvy Girl Summer, and that's what I told Bramble I wanted. And they were very supportive of me being able to write that.
Is that something that you, from what I've read of your work, it seems like that's something that you try to do with all of your books, like to make people feel seen or walk away with something for them, and not
Absolutely.
just oh, the story was cute. Like there's something that we're taking away from every story that we read.
Absolutely. There's always going to be, they always gonna get it in. Okay.
Hmm.
I feel like the love story, they're gonna be in love. It's gonna be cute, but I want you to walk away with a lesson, whether that be for relationships with your friends, a romantic partner, or yourself. But like the love that we have for each other, the love that we have for ourselves, the love that we have for God, the love that we have within us, I want that to be on display in every story. But for people to walk away with a life lesson and, a good time
Yeah.
is like, is always like, that's what I'm trying to give you. Every story's gonna be different, but a life lesson and a good time, that's what I'm definitely putting in there.
And I love it. Love it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's been your favorite book that you've written so far?
Girl, when I tell you I can, so I don't have an answer to that because depending upon, like, I can't even choose. Like, I can't even pretend to choose. But I will say that when people when people ask that, one of the things I want to say is that the most, I feel like, creative thing that I've written
Mhm.
are my Poe inspired pieces, because I feel like I've never seen that done before. I'm not going to say I'm the first person to do it, but I've never seen it done before. And to take Poe's work, which has always been presented like as white characters and
Mhm.
as horror, and turn it into Black people and a love story,
Okay.
but keep the same notes and the same beats as the work that it was inspired by.
Mhm.
I feel like that's my most creative, but I also feel like that has been probably my least financially fruitful
Mhm.
venture. And I keep doing it because I love it. Like, now, business wise, in the grand scheme, is that a great business decision? But
Love it.
I feel like, just because something's not popular right now doesn't mean that, like, books live forever.
Mhm.
So I feel like if someone's not getting it now, okay, but like, who's to say that 2025 isn't the
Right.
year that someone's like, oh my goodness, let me tell you about Telltale. Let me tell you about The Cast. Let me tell you about Annabelle and Lee. Let me tell you about Nevermore. And so, like, I write what my heart tells me to write, and I put it out there and hope for the best, pray over it, put it out there, and that's all I can do. But I feel like the most creative is probably the Poe inspired ones. The one that I love the reaction of the most is probably Broken Clocks. I do enjoy people's reactions to it. Um, because I feel like there's so much to get from it,
Mhm.
and I feel like that has been the most visceral reaction. Um, I like when people say that, like, Truth or Dare made them want to, like, have fun, and like it made them laugh and want to have a good time. So, like, I love them all. I can't pick. I can't pick. And I honestly think that's messed up for you to put me in the position to try.
I was genuinely curious. Some people have
Like, why would you
opinions.
do that to me?
The same reason you did broken clocks to us. No, I'm just
Not getting
playing.
back at me.
No. Okay, so I have a question about the Poe series. Because I keep
Mhm.
looking at the covers and be like, oh, I want to read this. But me knowing what I know about Edgar Allan Poe, I'm scared. I'm
Don't be
like,
scared. Don't be scared. So, okay. And I think that's another reason too, because like people always associate him with
mm-hmm.
horror. So, like, these are not scary books. These are definitely
Okay.
romances. So Nevermore is inspired by The Raven. And the Raven poem, I always tell people, if you read the like poems or the short stories that they're inspired by, then I feel like when you read the book, you're gonna be like, that girl good. I feel like it gives you that. But so Nevermore is inspired by the Raven,
Mm-hmm.
and the scariness that is usually attached to the Raven
Mm-hmm.
is not really present. You feel that looming, like something's looming in Nevermore, but it's not a horror story at all. Telltale is a love story, and I it's it's very, very cute. And what you know of okay, so Telltale is inspired by the Telltale Heart, and
Familiar.
I know in the Telltale Heart
Mm-hmm.
there was a murder,
Uh-huh.
and there was but it's not like that at all in Telltale.
Okay, good.
Telltale is not giving that same energy,
Great.
but it's still inspired by. So, like, if you when you read it,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be like, okay, I see what she did
The
there.
pieces. Okay.
And then with Annabelle and Lee, that's inspired by the poem Annabelle Lee. That is straight romance, second chance romance. And then the cask of Amontillado is like what it's inspired by.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is, so all the other ones is like friends to lovers.
Mm-hmm.
The cask is enemies to lovers, but it's more so like she she's the villain. Like, she is, like, she he is her enemy. Like she is like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take him down. And so you once but it's not scary at all.
Okay.
In the in Poe's story, does he get led
Hmm.
to the tombs to his death?
I'm familiar with
Yes.
Poe.
But
Very familiar with that name. I was like, wait a
but
minute.
that's not that's not what's happening. Oh, but you okay, so you remember in um Big Nick Energy
Hmm.
when they went on the date to that wine bar, the cask?
Hmm.
That
That's
is the cask. And so you've already met
okay.
Ebony. So you already know her. So like y'all are
Yeah,
friends.
he's a friend. We're good.
Yeah, like just old friends.
No, Telltale is the one I really want. Like, I wanted to read Telltale first, but I was like, I know how this story goes. I was,
You said, wait a minute.
I was like,
No.
I was traumatized in high school. I know how to win. I was like, I know the writing is good. I don't know.
No, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do like Poe inspired pieces because it like if you attended public school
Hmm.
in the US, you were made to read Edgar Allan Poe,
Hmm.
and it was always white facing. It was
Hmm.
always like even when they showed the little videos about it, whenever they talked about it. And so it was something that we were all expected to read, expected to be exposed to, but but never really made in a way for us to connect with the story and what was going on. So I wanted to take something that we were forced to read
Hmm.
and then make it sexy, make it black, and make it romance and like still apply the same beats. So it's like I feel like there have been people who said they better understand the story, that Poe's story,
Hmm.
after reading my story because they could relate to it better. And that made me very happy because, again, we were all forced to participate in, the Edgar Allan Poe
Yep.
section and what because I remember it started for me in middle school in language arts, like before they even started, then got to high school and it was in
Yep.
English. But I remember our first like grown up like poem was The Raven in sixth grade. And so it's like we're reading The Raven in sixth grade, language arts, and then we are reading Poe continuously throughout high school. And then, and then that's it. So I wanted to take that we've already been exposed to
Hmm.
and make it accessible, make it sexy, make it black, and then like we already have that connection to it.
Yeah. Now I'm excited because now I really want to read Telltale. Because
Yeah. Once you finish, definitely
you know
read
that I will.
short story first
Okay.
to refresh your
I don't think
memory.
I need to.
Okay. That
That.
and I had somebody who before they read it originally, I had posted there's this YouTube video where they just read it for you. It was like 3 minutes.
Hmm.
And like so they listened to it and then they read it and they were like, I see what you did there. And so
Yeah.
either way, after you read it, definitely.
You know that I will.
Yes, I love it. I
Mm,
love
I will.
it.
I'm excited now. I also haven't picked up a romance book this year, so there's that.
Oh, why not?
I'm just not in I don't know. I don't know. And I don't like it for me. Like, I've been reading, but it ain't been romance.
Oh, what you been reading?
I did The Perfect Sister by Desiree. That was the
Oh,
first book I read this year. It was good.
nice.
It was good.
That's nice.
And then I finished Single Black Female because that was by Tracy Brown.
Okay.
That was a read. And I ain't finished nothing since.
Okay. Well, I feel like Telltale is a great way for
Yeah.
you to get back into romance.
Yeah. I don't like it. Hate it. Okay. So one of the other questions that I had posted on my Instagram post was, you have a lot of books about like love on reality shows. Do you watch a
Yes.
lot of reality TV?
I, I don't. I don't watch
Really?
reality TV like romance reality
Hmm.
TV and really reality TV in general. I don't watch a lot of it.
Hmm.
But I wrote the one and based off of what I was seeing about like The Bachelor, and this is in
Yeah,
2016.
that one's.
And so I knew I wanted to write that. So I watched that season of The Bachelor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote the one.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I was writing it as I was watching it. And then I wrote after the
Mm-hmm.
one. The next season, at that point, there had never been a Black Bachelorette.
Mm-hmm.
And so that next season, Rachel was
Yep.
the Bachelorette. And I said, I feel like somebody read the one and
And
then, but I didn't get any, they didn't pay me or anything. So, and so I did watch Love is Blind from season one. I feel like that's the only one that I had watched from the
it was the only
beginning.
one.
And all the other ones, I
Trash.
feel like it's just mess at
Trash
this point. The first one,
was the
they
only.
didn't know it was going to be a success. I follow Lauren
Me
and
too.
Cameron on Instagram.
I
Like,
love them.
I love them. Okay. After that, it's just been
It's
like,
craziness.
yes. So, but I watched that because I watched it, but I never watched Married at First
Mm-hmm.
Sight before. But there was two seasons. I knew I wanted to write Insta Love. And so there was two seasons of that on Netflix. And I watched that. I binge watched it. And I was like, this is a mess. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I
Yeah.
can't. So I only watched those two seasons, but it helped me form, which is why in Insta Love, they were very clear about like because I do feel like some of the things that I put in there were truly how I feel. I feel like they are a lot of times putting people together to make good TV,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily looking to put couples together that will last. And I feel like in Insta that's why they were very clear about like part of what makes us a successful show. Like basically they were like, we got the one for the mess. What
Mm-hmm.
makes Insta Love a successful show is because we actually are matching you and want to see you thrive and be successful. And so but like outside of when I was writing those particular shows, I don't really watch anything outside of when Love is Blind comes on. Um I feel like I've watched more of like those reality cooking shows. Or
Mm-hmm.
not even I can't even say the Gordon Ramsay cooking
Yeah.
shows, like Hell's Kitchen and what is it, Top
Top
Shelf?
shelf.
Top Chef? Like those are like I've watched those like when they come on. I'm like just because like he be yelling and I'm just like I like seeing the people create, but like I could not in that stressful
Not
environment.
who. I would cry.
Okay,
'Cause why are you
immediately.
yelling at me? And we're on TV. First of all, you're not
Listen, you
embarrassed.
embarrassing me.
So you're not gonna
Like
embarrass me. No, I'm
now and I'm cooking bad now because you yelling
correct.
at me. Now I can't even go
Now
back
nothing
and
tastes
like
good, and now you're gonna yell at
mm-mm,
me again. I don't.
yeah,
I'm
can't
cool.
do it.
Thank you. So shout out to those of you who can. It will never be me. It will never be me.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Shout out to them. Because to be in that pressure cooker and then have to execute
I can't. I'm I'm not built
would
for it.
never, would never.
Not built for it.
Like the first time you yell at me like that, okay, you can have my
Yeah,
jacket
I'm going
because
home.
you're not gonna
I'm.
goodbye.
I don't
Like
have to
I'm
be here.
okay,
Get right out.
like you're not gonna talk to me crazy.
And
You
not.
just not.
And
Oh,
especially
in
on
public?
national television. Absolutely not. I'm
We're
going home.
good. We are good. Like I'm not even gonna go back and forth
Don't
with you because
even send
you
the producers to try to talk me back coming back in. It's an over. I'm not doing
like
it.
book my flight home,
Immediately.
okay?
You know what? You ain't even gotta do that. Let me just stay in the hotel. I'll stay in the hotel for the rest of the time I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Don't worry about it.
Truly, truly. I can make this a vacation. Like
Yeah.
I do
Don't
not
even worry about it.
need no type of that. And
Mm.
so but
But then with the kids, he be so soft.
so I haven't watched the ones with the kids, but I've seen clips on
He
TikTok and
be
he's like gentle
so
with them.
soft.
It's
And I was like,
I love that though, because if he was talking to the kids crazy, then I wouldn't
then
be
the
as much of a
parents
fan.
are
I'd be
getting
like, wait a
involved.
minute.
Yeah, parents are getting involved, and it's a whole other thing.
Now they gotta
Yep.
fight. Like we don't
Because you're
want
not gonna talk
that.
to my child crazy. No, no. I don't care who you are. Don't care.
So yeah, I might have to check out the one with the kids. But like on the so that is the real like only real reality TV. You know what? Actually, I did see something else that was cute. The Circle, but that was more like that wasn't
This
a
last
romance.
season, I'm obsessed
Okay.
because that girl really married that man,
She
and I was like,
said
I
from the
love it.
beginning, she
She did.
said, I'm gonna marry him. And I was so because like we knew that they weren't catfish, but I feel like they had that connection without knowing for sure that they weren't catfish.
Yes.
And then like I saw that
I
proposal
was
and
like,
I was like
yes.
I was so happy, like hearts. And so, but outside of that, and I feel like it was so organic
It really
too. Like
was.
that's what I loved about it. Like they fell in love, and we got to witness when
Literally.
they even like just met. I love everything about that, and so that
And
makes
then
me.
I knew him from TikTok. I didn't
I
like as I was watching it, I
didn't
didn't realize he was the
me
apples man.
either. I just realized that when
When he
someone
did
made
the
a
video
comment.
telling them that he telling them, I was like, oh, like I know you.
I had no idea. Even when I saw him on the show, I did not know that was him.
Didn't
And
not a
then
clue.
someone in the
Not a
he didn't even like it did not
mm-mm.
register at all. And then when someone had said like in the comments that that's the apple for apples, I was like, wait a minute. And I clicked on it and I saw it and I was like, what? And so I just love that so much. And I feel like that's romance to me. Like, yeah,
That's
so
what it's so
like the twins won, cool, happy
yeah,
for
that
them.
okay.
But
However.
I feel like they won for
Yeah.
real. Like they are the winners. And I just love that.
They're so happy. We got a
Yes.
lot of black love from reality TV this year. We got them. We got oh god, Odell Beckham.
Cordell and
Yes,
Serena.
yes. And I was like, I love if this is what reality TV is moving towards. Cool, great. Like I love this.
I only know them from
Yeah,
TikTok. I have
I didn't
never
watch Love
seen
Island.
a Love
I saw
Island in my life.
clips,
I,
but
me
like
too.
watching them, I was
I
like,
just
I
saw the
love
TikTok.
them. I was like,
And
I don't even
every
want
time I
to watch
saw
the whole season. I just want to watch Serena clips. Like that's it. Because
every
I
time
saw
I
the clip where
saw
she like dressed him down because he had done whatever he had done. I was like, I just want to watch them. Like if I can
exactly.
just tell me what
Exactly.
timestamp they're on. That's all I need. I don't.
Send me the cliff
That's
notes.
it.
I just want to see them.
I don't
I love them so much, and I don't know anything about the season. I
nothing.
don't know anything about the show, but every time I saw a clip of them, I just stopped, watched the whole thing, and smile.
Yep. Because they're so. You can just almost like feel like it doesn't feel like it's made for TV love. Like it feels like
Yes,
they genuinely love and care about
yes,
each other.
absolutely, absolutely.
I love it. I had a question for you and it just left my mind. Anywho, are you reading anything right now?
I can't read and write at the same time. It takes me out of, and I did see someone where someone said like if you read out of your genre it's easier. And so but I still like I have to have book 3 to them by February 1st.
Ooh,
And I had to take
nothing.
okay, and so I have 3 minutes. And I
Not
had
it.
to take December off to heal. And so I've been working nonstop, and but I'm close to the finish line, so I feel like I'll make it. But yeah, I haven't had any free time to read or do anything. But even when I do have free time, um, if I'm reading anything, it's an arc from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone's like, hey, can you read this? And it happens to be in that window between a project,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll prioritize that because that like author friend asked me to read it and I have the time because usually I don't have the time. But usually I just buy books from I just buy books because in one day I hope to have more time and then I already have them and then I can be like, oh, I can choose from my collection.
Speaking of arcs and your author friends, I don't know who else knows this. I know this because I was told at like during the process. But you are the reason we have maybe for the summer. Yes.
Yes.
I absolutely love that book.
That makes me happy. She worked
Love.
so hard. She worked
She
so
did.
hard on it. And I feel like I feel like she's the reason, Aubrey's the reason that the book is done because Aubrey is that girl. But I feel like sometimes people need encouragement and sometimes people need um, just somebody who reminds them of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, I know for me, sometimes like God just puts it on my spirit to reach out to people, like, and then when I do and they happen to tell me like what's happening, then I feel like, oh, then this was exactly what I was supposed to do. And so when she finished it, I was like, yeah. So like I do have that, but like because I was in the middle of trying to finish uh the when it was finished, that was the same time I was doing edits for Nina's book. So like I wasn't able to like I haven't been able to read it yet, but like I do have that.
Yeah, because she and I talked a lot like during the process, and she was like, Danielle Allen said I got 30 days to write this book. First of all, when she said 30 days, this is not what I thought we were getting.
Yeah.
I did not think
Like
we were getting this. I thought we were getting something a little bit smaller. And I read it. I got an arc, and I still didn't realize how big the book really was until
yeah.
it got here.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, if this is what you can do in 30 days, if you like really sit down and put your mind to it, bruh, like,
Yeah.
crazy.
When she said that she was working on it, like I didn't know how long it was going to be.
Mhm.
She didn't know how long it was going to
No,
be, but the story kept doing what it needed to do. And so I was like, I was very proud of her for making that happen.
because she emailed me after, like, literally, I want to say 10 minutes after I finished the arc. She was like, hey, when it hits Amazon, you're gonna have to reread it again because I added some more stuff. I was like, what else could you have added? Like, what else did we need?
She said, I'm putting it all out there.
Yeah, she was
And
like, and her rollout for that book was amazing. Like, I told her,
yes,
I was like,
she was
because why
going
is there? I was like, why is there a mixtape? we have songs. Like, what are you doing?
she said, I'm gonna put it all out there,
And
and
it
did,
did.
and did.
You did.
So,
But yeah.
so hopefully that to anybody who's listening, if God puts it on your heart to give somebody an encouraging word or to reach out, do that. Like you never know what comes of that.
No. Oh, okay. So, how can people connect with you outside of Instagram?
Well, I I have a Patreon, so follow me there. I will be putting the link. Actually, the link should be in my bio,
Okay.
but you can follow me there. I'm going to start season 2 of
Yay.
a little a little I don't know, these interviews that I'm doing. I don't know what I'm calling it this year, but season 2, I'm going to start recording that very soon. So, follow me on Patreon. Again, I don't know the name on there yet. Like right now off the top of my head, but I'll post it. Um, on it's at Follow my newsletter too. I was gonna say it's author Danielle Allen on TikTok. It's Danielle Allen on Blue Sky. I'm not on Twitter. My original account was hacked, that so the one I don't and then the other one I closed down, so I'm not on Twitter. TikTok may be going away,
I'm
but
glad.
that's also Danielle Allen. And then on Facebook it's Danielle Allen. But follow my newsletter, follow my Patreon. I have so many exciting things that I have planned, especially since again, there's a period of time where I can't release anything.
Mhm.
And that's when the season is really going to start, and it's going to be some like good things. I'm already putting a list together of people I want to contact to see if they want to be on. It's going to be like a talk show. It's gonna give Zola Patterson vibes, and
Yes.
so
Love
that is
it.
so that's the plan. So follow me. Newsletter and my Patreon are in my bio on Instagram. So if you click, it should be on my little, what is it, link tree. It should
Mm-hmm.
be on. Free. My website, authordanielleallen.com, and Plus Size Player will be available June 2025. You can pre-order today. Tell your friends to pre-order because I still do feel like, even though the people on my team and Bramble as a whole are very, very supportive of the story, I do feel like there's some hesitancy about like a book about Black love
Mm-hmm.
featuring a fat Black natural haired heroine, and it not being about her weight loss journey and all of that. So um so if you could support, I'd love it. If you haven't read Curvy Girl Summer, definitely read that. You don't need I would recommend reading Curvy Girl Summer before Plus S Player,
Mm-hmm.
but those two are kind of interchangeable. The third one, though, you need to read that one last because of there's spoilers and stuff. Because Nina's story picks up in August of the same summer with Aaliyah. So yeah, that's all. That's all I'm at liberty to say
Yeah, I was
at
saying, I
this
was like,
moment.
you have a minute from June. You can't.
Yeah, I can't say much more than that, but I will say Aaliyah's journey started in June and takes us through till the end of August, and Nina's story starts in August and takes us through September, and then Jasmine's story takes us through the rest of the year. So you see more things in that one. So read Curvy Girl Summer, then read Plus Size Player. Thank you kindly.
All right. So where are you gonna be at this year? Where can we meet you?
Oh my goodness. So many
You're
places.
just out of
I
town.
don't know the names of all of them, but in March I'll be at Monica's.
4B. That's what we're calling it because there's a
Yes, because I
4B.
can't get boots, and so
Boots,
I'm gonna
books,
be.
bulls, and bling. There we go. I got them.
Yes, yes.
I got
So I'm gonna be at Monica's event in
them.
March. I'm gonna be at a Polycon in April. I'm gonna be at the Black Romance. Wait, I'm gonna be somewhere in Fort Lauderdale at the beginning of May.
Mm-hmm.
I can't book Beach Fest, or I think. Um, and then at the end of May, the Black Romance
Book Fest.
Book Fest, thank you. Then in June, Indie Love.
Wait,
Um,
what?
and mhm,
Sorry. Sorry.
and that's
I feel like I didn't know that you were gonna be there. I'm very excited.
I, I am going to be there, and then I feel like it's 2 weeks
It
later I'll be back in
is
Atlanta, and then in August I'll be in New York for the
behind the pen.
Behind the Pen. In September I will be um uh me and my
Uh,
romance friends,
okay.
and in September, me and my romance friends, with Mercy B. Um, and then in October, I'm going to be at
Southern
in
Hearts.
South Carolina,
Mhm.
Southern Hearts. Yes, girl, I can't like
It's me
I've
traveling
posted
to keep
all
up
of
to the
them.
year. Like,
Yes,
like
like
we'll be together for the year.
every month there's something, and my goal is to have something that is event exclusive,
Oh yay.
and then it'll be available like on my website at the end of the year. But what I'm going for, especially I'll say probably from May on, it'll be something that's event exclusive, and then it'll be on my website um after the events. But I definitely hope that I see you all out and about in these streets. I can't wait.
Thank you, girl. But that's what the Zola covers were, right? The new Zola
Yes.
covers were even exclusive. Yeah.
Yes. And so they're gonna be with me this summer.
Yeah. Are you bringing extra books to Texas? I just need to know if I need to.
So, which time in Texas? March or September?
March.
I will be bringing I will be bringing some books in. So I'm bringing Zola.
Okay.
I'm bringing Big Nick Energy, and I'm bringing Curvy Girl Summer. I do have like some Curvy Girl Summers um that I can bring with me, but I only have a handful of those because
Yeah.
yeah. So but outside of those, I feel like I'll have a good amount of stuff with me. I don't know. I'm never good at pre-orders or anything like that. So I'm just like, hey guys, come to my table, please. And so
Just need to know. Because me and that Zola cover, like, yeah. Try not to buy nothing
yes,
until these events because I'll be just about everywhere you are next year.
I love
So,
it.
no,
I feel like my goal is to have something that you haven't seen come May on.
bet.
There'll be something that you haven't seen at each of the events that I'll see you at.
Because I think, no, yeah, I'm working every event. I'm a moderator for Monica. I'm helping Dandridge at Indie Love, Southern Hearts. I'm missing an event. That's three. Where else am I going? Indie Love, Southern Hearts.
The book fest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm an influencer. I don't really know 100% what that means yet, but
I love it. Okay, so
yeah.
4 times. That means I'm seeing you because March is still technically winter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing you in the winter, I'm seeing you in the spring, I'm
Yep.
seeing you in the summer,
So
and I'm seeing you
in
in
the
the
fall,
fall. So,
seasonally,
so
great.
you are going to see there's going to be something. The goal is to have something
Mm-hmm.
different at each of those things because it's also something that like my Patreon people would get to. So or have access to as well. So yes, definitely check that out.
Patreons are something I'm getting on this year because I realized I was missing out on a lot not being on people's Patreons.
Yeah. I didn't realize how fun it could be, but also like how many, I feel like the interactions are different. Like I feel like on social media in general, we can chit chat
Mm-hmm.
and all of that, but like having the interviews, I feel like getting to know the authors
Mm-hmm.
better and then having readers be able to like watch that. And then so many of them have messaged me and said that they bought books from those authors because of the conversation. It just made me happy. So like I love it.
Yeah. Well, all right. I am not going to take up too much more of your time. I have something I have to ask you like offline. So
Oh, okay. Well, yes, definitely hit me up.
yeah, I'll message you. But
Yes.
thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Thank you for having me. This was a lovely way to kick off 2025. This was my first interview of 2025.
Hey, my first for this season
Yes,
too. Yeah.
I love it.
Is there anything else
See,
you can tell people?
we're starting off right, and I love
Very much.
that. I love it. And so, the only thing is like get Curvy Girl
Mm-hmm.
Summer, pre-order Plus Size Player, and follow my newsletter and my Patreon. That's all.
All right. Well, have a good night.
Thank you, you
Enjoy.
too.
Bye.
Bye.